other class that in this company that I was sharing the experience with you in the other session, that they sent a disclaimer. In one of the many lies, they said that in the exit interview that I prefer to respond in written, that during their engagement that I didn't respond, and they, that they honor my request. What a lie. I told you in that class that out of 10 questions, I answered 9. The first one I choose not to answer. I prefer to write it because I never trusted them. The 3 of them, one elderly man, a single lady, and this HR lady. And I told you that they confirmed my fear. When they were through, this lady read the summary. She changed practically everything I said was not what she put. The way I said it. I gave you an example. But what I'm doing in this session now is to read the transcripts. I told you I have evidence of all these things. They should have the recording. Every one of us should have it. Let me read the transcript for you to see. The first question is that, tell us the reason behind your resignation. My response, I said, I prefer to write it. They insisted, and I said, what if any of you here is the reason I'm leaving? Whatever I tell you, you may not put it the way I want you. Then I pointed to each of them. I said, what if I make each of them a reference or an example? What if she? What if he? What if she is the reason I'm leaving? So I prefer to put it down. After a number of engagements, they moved to question 2. Question 2 is this. Was there any specific issue that led to your resignation? You are asking me if there was any specific issue that led to my resignation. When they knew what the problem was. After resignation, they still humiliated me through replacing me in a manner they did. In the 10x6 toilet size office I was. And they are asking me. So my response is this. For now, I can't remember any. They all knew what the problem was, and they were asking me. And in answering questions, there are 3 key ways to answer. It's either you say yes, no, or you provide specific response. Your specific response will be, I can't remember, I don't know, or you say some other things. So it could be either yes, it could be no, it could be statements. So that was my response. For now, I can't remember any. Question 4. No, question 3 now. How will you describe your overall experience working with the organization? They were asking me my overall experience. My response, the work is challenging, but the environment is unpalatable. The work is challenging, the environment is unpalatable. Then they move to number 4. Do you have any opportunity for growth and development in the organization? Do you have any opportunity for growth and development in the organization? I said no. That was my response, no. Then one of them asked, what of the training you went for? That was the elderly man. I said, training? workshop or seminars. I said they are in diverse form. Then the elderly man cut in again. He said, what of the subsidiaries that you have been going to work? That's the place I've been going to audit. If they choose to use external auditor, they would have been paying millions. Those were the places he was referring to. What of the subsidiaries you have been working for? I said, my response, if working in subsidiaries or for subsidiaries are opportunities to grow, at least I've been going there to audit since 2019, to audit subsidiaries since 2019. It should have been manifested by now. That is, in other words, if the working in subsidiaries are opportunities to grow, it should have manifested by now, since 6 years now, that I've been going to audit these various subsidiaries. It should have translated to growth. But that's not now. Then they asked me, number 5, how will you rate your relationship with your team members, superiors, and subordinates? My response, with my team members, fine. With my boss, I said I have 2 bosses. One is a professor. Let me use the word professor. I said, fantastic. That is, working with that professor, fantastic. I said, great. I said, I don't know what name to call it, to call the relationship between us. Then I said, I have also reported, I mentioned the name of the one terrorizing everybody. I said the relationship was extremely poor. A terrorist. I said it was highly unpalatable. And I included, this is same with everyone that reports to him. Then number 6, when I said this thing, that HR lady pick up a fight. But I want to limit myself to the transcript. I don't want to talk about other things that transpired. Number 6, they said, were there any specific policies or procedures that you find challenging or problematic during your tenure? I said, none that I can remember. They were asking me if there were policies or procedures that I found challenging. I said, none that I can remember. When they all know that there were policies that were problematic. The cybersecurity policy was, as forged signature, it was bastardized. Somebody who knew nothing about it reviewed it, he bastardized it. The place where he had no rules, he put his name there. I don't even want to go into that. That's their own luck. Now, then they ask, number 7, were there any areas where you think the company could improve its policies, procedures, or workplace culture? My answer, none that I can remember. None that I can remember is an answer. I don't need to tell you anything, any area at that junction. Then they ask again, number 8, do you have any advice for your successor or team that will continue your work? I said no. At least because I know that my successor or my team members, they were seeing what was happening. They were not happy with what was happening. And I expected them to learn. So there was not need for me to, nothing to even tell them, because I was always carrying them along. And they were not all happy. This lady has harassed them before. When I just came back from my traveling, he harassed all of them. There was one he told that one guy that lives around don't let me mention the area. He was threatening the guy with a query for following me to our floor. Upon resumption, he was insulting and harassing the guy. Then number 9, will you consider returning to the company in the future if circumstances were different? I said no, that I think of. Then 10, is there anything else that you would like to share or discuss before you take your leave? I said none that I think of. That's the 10th question. After this, she read the summary of all my answers. By the time she finished, she didn't put exactly what I state in about 2 places, especially where she asked about relationship between me and the one that was terrorizing me. He tried to panabit what I said. She panabit. In fact, she panabited what I said, not that she tried to. So after this, you know what they did? I asked them to send that number 1 to me so that I could put it in my response. They now sent the whole question to me. So you know what I did too? I now use a Melocom Smartless. The Melocom sense for them. I just answered only number 1. The reasons why I was leaving. That was where I stated everything this lady was doing and that other man. I stated it there. Everything they deny me. You know, the discrimination, the harassment, the bully. I stated some of it there. I used a Melocom Smartness, just like a Melocom said, they requested him to provide the name of 3 persons for vice president. He had 3 names in mind, but he now deliberately gave them 1 name so that they will not outsmart him. So me too. Since I've answered 2 to 10, I decided not to repeat it again so that there will not be conflict or discrepancies in my answers. So I just answered only 1. I was shocked when I saw their disclaimer and they said I did not answer the question, the exit interview question, but I choose to put it in writing, and they allowed that. And these people, some of them who lie. There was one among them whose wife was a pastor. There was one that used to quote Bible regularly. May God help us. Only God knows who serves him. So that's what we are talking about. It is well with us by his grace.